All right, folks, Tommy Cowett here on the lawn with you, and looking at a fix we're going to try here at my neighbor's house across the street from my place. This is a huge river birch, and as you can see, the roots have spread all the way out to the drip line of the tree. And I mow this lawn for her probably once every 10 days to 2 weeks. It doesn't require a lot of mowing. But when she first moved in, these roots were a concern of hers. There's Webster walking down the street. And they were out in the yard. And there's a large drain here. There's a lot of runoff from the neighborhood up above. So what has gone on here is there's been some erosion. Her walkway has not settled out. It's just washed away around this walk. And there's some settling and washing here. So we're bringing in about 6 cubic yards of topsoil. But the first thing I want to do is get rid of this plastic. I don't know whose idea this was. I'm not an advocate of this material at all. It girdles plants and trees. It suffocates the tree. One very sensitive area of a tree is this root flare. And you don't want to cover that. There's a lot of interactions here, so what I'm going to do is get my blower over here and blow this stuff out. As much of this leaves and organic material, somebody put mulch on top of the fabric. This fabric barely breathes. I see water just repels right off of it. Not an advocate of fabric, ever. Use heavy, thick mulch. It does the same basic thing, and it allows for microbial growth in the soil. So you're building your soil. No need to have this. I think it's led to more problems. There's even air pockets up under this. So it served no purpose. Look at this. That's ridiculous. Anybody advocating this is crazy. Look at the voids under there. So we're going to fix this issue, and we'll get back with you in a little bit. All right? All right, folks. So now that we've got most of the mulch and soil that was on top of this fabric, what you're left with are some roots from the tree, and I'm hoping I can save them by pulling this material apart. What these are, they're called adventitious roots. Adventitious roots. They start to form when you trick the tree into believing it needs to make a new root system because you've buried the old one, and the old one's not functioning like it should. Here's double wrapped here. No water's penetrating this. There's air pockets all under here. This tree's been tricked. It's not healthy to have this. Oh, look, a cicada even living under there. Cicadas are not friends of trees. But anyway, we're going to get rid of this fabric. We've got some soil coming in. We're going to try to remedy this problem. Okay, see you in a bit. The garden outlet is here delivering some beautiful topsoil. And this is a heavier topsoil. This is not, it's got some organic matter in it. As you can see, leaves, compost. But for the most part, it's a good heavy clay material that's in here. As you can see, that's what I want. That's like the native soil we have here. Thank you, garden outlet. Thanks a lot. Tell Donna and Glenn I said hey. All right, so here we've got the root system excavated, all this fabric removed. And look at that nabari. To me, that's almost as good as the top of the tree. Seeing that beautiful nabari, that root structure. Now, if we could show that off, you know, fill that in and plant this area with some plants, some shade-loving plants, mondo grass, some Lenten roses, things like that, variety. Anything that'll like it. Look, there's some ivy, some variegated ivy growing in here. These cotoneaster, amazingly, are doing well. There's an azalea right here. I'm still going to clean up some of these grasses, prune up some of this. But we're going to fill it in with the soil and fix up this outside area where these roots are. We'll keep this big, beautiful, majestic river birch for years to come. Save some money on not having to remove it. And that's what she was up against, the decision whether to remove it or to fix it up. And I say fix it up. All right, we'll get back with you in a bit. Tree, are you happy with me? Okay, folks, back on the lawn. That's what's left of our pile. And you can see down here on these roots, we are covering the roots back over with this organic topsoil, but not to the point where they're suffocating. You see the root flare. I'm basically going to cover this and leave the top still exposed. Working with the dingo thingo I just invented, you may have remembered from an earlier video. But man, I just moved 6 cubic yards of mulch in an hour with this thing. But basically I'm going to keep the top exposed and just fill in the voids. Now these roots went all the way out to the lawn. There was a lot of low spots. And we've covered that up. We're going to give it a nice final grade. Of course the walk was not settling, but the soil around the walk had washed away, was exposing some of the concrete on this. We've still got a few low spots. Over here, more compaction. Be covering these roots as well. I want to talk for a second about moss. And moss forms on a lawn. Some more roots over here we'll cover up. Try to get some turf growing here. Moss is an indication you've got heavy compacted soil, lacking oxygen. And basically what it's doing is allowing an algae scum to form on the surface of the soil. The moss grows on the algae. And the thing about it is, a lot of people say, oh, it's pH. It's really not to do with pH. But lime or gypsum can help. Gypsum is magnesium, calcium and magnesium. And basically, it is it's a magnesium lime. It helps to break up and loosen the soil. So when you loosen the soil, you're naturally adding air to the soil, and thereby not allowing the algae scum, which is black. It's even growing right here on that root. It's black in nature, and it allows for that moss. So we're gonna just finish grading this off, do a little bit of seeding here, and should have a really great lawn in the next few weeks. All right, Tommy Cowett and his Thingo signing out. Y'all have a great one. All right, folks, so here we are. We've just spread the topsoil all around. I want to talk to you a minute about growing grass in the shade, under trees, or dealing with tree roots. In most cases, you could get by with some soil conditioner, aeration, and seeding will do the job. But in this case, if you recall the giant Nabari roots, I did not cover them completely. Just filled in some of the big gaps. You know, these roots are stretching all the way out here to the drip lines we talked about before. And they are causing some compaction. You're dealing with a scenario here, the elephant and the mouse. And the elephant's going to win every time. But this is one case where you would bring in some topsoil. I'm just lightly raking in the seed here. You can kind of see the seed over the soil there. And you will get some turf established here. Of course, what's going to happen now is it's going to require a lot more maintenance. You know, a lot more work on your end. Seeding, aeration, lawn care are all good. You know, fertilizing on a regular basis, that type of thing. Good lawn care. You know, providing the proper weed control products and good, you know, you can do a soil test and see if you require lime. But usually it's a compaction issue, it's competition. Keep all your limbs up like this tree. Look at all the light we're getting here in the afternoon. She should have no problem growing a great lawn right here. And all the branches are limbed up. 10 to 15 feet. Really, you need to be at least 10 to 15 feet, everything limbed up to allow sunlight. Turf grass requires about 6 hours of light, full sun, for tall fescue. So, anyway, just want to share that with you. I'm sure, we'll deal with some of this moss. A good way to deal with that is with aeration. That's the #1 way to do it. And I work for Growing Green, and we do a lot of aeration and seeding this time of year. And anyway, we're having an Earth Day, Earth Way. Tommy Cowett, The Real Alien Times, signing out.